We stumbled across an article by Broadband Choices, where they conducted a study to find out which horror flick is the ultimate king of Fright Night. They did this by tracking heart rates of participants as they watched some of the world's most iconic horror films. They invited 250 victims to watch 40 of the world's scariest horror movies based off of Reddit recommendations and the critics' best list. The researchers determined the average resting heart rate of the participants to be 64 and then tracked 250 participants' average movie heart rate, highest spike, and overall difference between the two. Let's go ahead and jump into the 10 scariest movies according to science and let you know where you can stream them today. Starting off at number 10 is the 2016 horror flick, The Conjuring 2. The Conjuring 2 follows the story of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, played by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, as they travel to North London to help a single mother raising 4 children alone in a house plagued by a supernatural spirit and a daughter who shows signs of demonic possession. The movie is directed by James Wan, who's known for such horror films as Saw and Insidious. You can stream this now on Netflix and HBO Max, and its movie ratings include an 80% off of Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb. At the number 9 spot is the horror movie Paranormal Activity. Now this is one of my personal favorites, which had me sleeping with the lights on for more nights than I care to admit. The 2007 horror flick is filmed like a home movie and follows Katie and Mika, a young couple who have recently moved into a house in suburban San Diego. Katie talks of an evil presence that has haunted her since her childhood and claims that the entity has followed her into her new home, which inspires Mika to set up a video camera in their bedroom in the hopes of capturing any paranormal activity that may occur while they sleep. The camera records some strange phenomena with terrifying events to follow. You can catch this streaming on Netflix and HBO Max. Movie ratings 83% Rotten Tomatoes, 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb. At the number 8 spot is the sequel, A Quiet Place 2. If you are familiar with the first movie, continuing the story with the power couple John Krasinski, who plays Lee Abbott, and Emily Blunt, who plays Evelyn Abbott. With the newly acquired knowledge of the seemingly invulnerable creature's weaknesses, grief-stricken Evelyn Abbott finds herself on her own, with 2 young teens, a defenseless newborn son, and with no place to hide. The Abbotts summon up every last ounce of courage to leave their now burned to the ground farm and embark on a peril-laden quest to find civilization. With this in mind, determined to expand beyond the boundaries, the resilient survivors have no other choice but to venture into eerily quiet, uncharted hostile territory, hoping for a miracle. But this time, the enemy is everywhere. You can watch this streaming on Prime Video. Movie ratings 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb. Coming in at the number 7 spot is the 2014 horror movie It Follows. After a carefree teenager, Jay, played by Micah Monroe, sleeps with her new boyfriend, Hugh, played by Jake Weary, for the first time, she learns that she is the latest recipient of a fatal curse that is passed from victim to victim via sexual intercourse. Death, Jay learns, will creep inexorable towards her as either a friend or a stranger. Jay's friends don't believe her seemingly paranoid ravings until they too begin to see the phantom assassins and band together to help her flee or defend herself. You can catch the streaming on Netflix Italy and Apple TV Prime Video. Movie ratings 96% Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb 6.8 out of 10. Coming in at the number 6 spot is the 2017 Argentine horror flick Terrified. Original title is Aterrados. On an ordinary suburban street in Buenos Aires, voices are heard from kitchen sinks. Bodies are levitating. Evil is here. It is up to a doctor, her colleague, and an ex-cop to get to the bottom of this neighborhood nightmare. Where to watch? Netflix Germany. Apple TV Prime Video rental at $3.99. Movie ratings 77% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb. At the number 5 spot is the movie Hereditary. Hereditary is a 2018 American psychological horror film written and directed by Ari Aster in his feature film directorial debut. It stars Toni Collette, Alex Wolff, Millie Shapiro and Gabriel Byrne as a family haunted by a mysterious presence after the death of their secretive grandmother. Where to watch? Netflix Canada. Amazon Prime, Apple TV rental at $3.99. Movie ratings: 89% Rotten Tomatoes and 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb. At the number 4 spot, in the first movie, Lorraine and Ed Warren are summoned to the home of Caroline and Roger Perrin. The Perrins and their 5 daughters have recently moved into a secluded farmhouse where a supernatural presence has made itself known. Though the manifestations are relatively benign at first, events soon escalate in horrifying fashion, especially after the Warrens discover the house's macabre history. Where to watch? HBO Max, Amazon Prime, and Apple TV rental at $3.99. Movie ratings: 86% on Rotten Tomatoes and 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb. Before we move into the top 3 spots, if you enjoyed the content so far, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to help our channel grow. Now moving into the number 3 spot is the movie Insidious. Parents Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne take drastic measures when it seems their new home is haunted and their comatose son, played by Ty Simpkins, is possessed by a malevolent entity. Where to watch? Amazon Prime and Apple TV rental at $3.99. Movie rating: 66% on Rotten Tomatoes and 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb. At the number 2 spot is the 2012 horror flick Sinister. Rue crime writer Ellison Oswald, played by Ethan Hawke, is in a slump. He hasn't had the bestseller in more than 10 years and is becoming increasingly desperate for a hit. So, when he discovers the existence of a snuff film showing the deaths of a family, he vows to solve the mystery. He moves his own family into the victim's home and gets to work. However, when old film footage and other clues hint at the presence of a supernatural force, Ellison learns that living in the house may be fatal. Where to watch? Amazon Prime and Apple TV rental at $3.99. Movie rating: 63% on Rotten Tomatoes and 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb. The moment that you've all been waiting for. And before we get into our number 1 scariest movie according to science, let us know in the comments below what is your guess and if you got it right. Go ahead, we'll wait. And without further ado, at the number 1 spot for the scariest movie according to science. In the past year and a half, I'm sure we've all had to do some form of group chat, whether it was for school, for work, or just so we could share a birthday or other significant event with our loved ones without the risk of COVID. Well, imagine, if you will, that there are one of these group conference calls like on Zoom, and you begin to notice strange paranormal occurrences developing in each of the group members' homes. That is exactly what happens in the 2020 horror movie Host. Host is a short but sweet horror movie shot in just 12 weeks entirely through Zoom video conferencing and directed by British director Rob Savage, a multi-award winning director/writer known for his shorts and was the 2013 Screen International Star of Tomorrow. Hosts is a movie about 6 friends who accidentally invite the attention of a demonic presence during an online seance during one of their regular pandemic video catch-ups. What follows is a thrill ride of genuinely scary moments. The movie took the number 1 spot according to science by coming in with the most average movie heart rates at 88 beats per minute with a peak of 130 beats per minute. Where to watch? Unless you have a Shudder subscription, you can rent this on Prime Video for $3.99. Movie ratings: 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. 6.5 out of 10 from IMDb. Thank you for watching another episode of The Binge Watch. And if you plan on losing sleep by watching any of the movies on this list to celebrate Halloween, give us a like, subscribe, and let us know what you thought about the movie in the comments below. And as always, my friends, binge watch responsibly.